Yo, welcome to my channel. It is really frustrating and it is a really bad day. First, when I thought we signed Devin Williams, I'm like, I was gonna wait for the rest of the year to end up when the winter meetings officially started, etc. Basically, it's like when we got Williams, I'm like, "All right, maybe that might not stop." But in 2 days, a span of 2 days, our Mets team has been decimated. We lose Edwin Diaz, our star closer. He's been like, I don't want to say lights out, but at least he's been much better than what Devin Williams is and all the other relievers that we have on our bullpen right now. And then the next day, we lose Edwin Diaz to the freaking Dodgers of all people. The Dodgers of all people, we lose them to the Dodgers. It's like I don't know what to say about that. But then the bigger factor is we lose the next day Pete Alonso to the Baltimore Orioles. Of all people, the Baltimore Orioles, we lose Pete Alonso to them. I mean, I don't know what David Stearns is doing. I honestly don't know what Cohen is doing either. Because like I thought Cohen's main objective was like, you know what, we got to maintain this team. We got to keep Diaz. We got to keep Alonso. Unless something somewhere along the lines they're seeing something that we're not seeing, and they're like, you know what, yeah, let's drive up the price and like let's cripple the team, rest of the teams. But reality is like it doesn't seem like we're crippling the Dodgers because like they're getting better. And chances are they're going to be in a new dynasty, the new evil empire. I thought we were going to be the evil empire. Honestly, I thought for sure we'd be the evil empire. That Cohen would do whatever he could to basically build out the team, bring in the free agents. I mean, right now, you looking from Soder's perspective and Lindor, they're probably like, "What the hell are we doing here?" Soder's probably thinking to himself like, "Why did I sign?" He was under the impression that you're going to have Alonso there, Lindor there, as well as Diaz, and good core nucleus. And the fact that we traded away Nimmo, I mean, we traded Nimmo for another aging superstar or another star. Or I don't want to say star. Basically, it was like a one-to-one swap. Basically, the only difference is uh, there is no difference, honestly, because like quite honestly, we might have gotten shafted on the deal. I don't know, for whatever reason. It seems like David Stern is more focused on the Brewers lineup and their farm system and getting them picking their farm system and whatnot, or picking some of their discarded players and bringing them onto the Mets. I think Stern is forgetting that he's with the New York Mets, a much larger payroll, a much larger payroll. This is where Cashman at least is doing, like understands where he's at and goes out and gets what he needs to basically at that point. In this situation, Stearns is not at that point. I don't understand. I mean, I would love to have Billy Bean because quite honestly, Billy Bean might be able to like re resuscitate the Mets overall. Because like honestly, I have no idea what we're gonna do. I mean, now there's talks of like possibly trading David Peterson and Kodai Senga. I mean, as well as McNeil. Now McNeil makes sort of sense because honestly, I don't know where he fits. But now it looks like we can't trade him because we got to put him at first base or put Vientos at first base. I don't know. We're gonna leave McNeil at this point because like if we had Alonso, then we could trade McNeil. But now that Alonso's gone, we need McNeil. And like the problem is he's aging too fast now. He's not where he was 3 years ago. So the problem is like I don't know what we do with him basically. And like if we trade, we better get someone in return for him. We're looking at trade David Peterson. Honestly, I think that's a mistake. If anything, the guy's an inning eater. He's definitely back of the rotation guy. Senga, you saw it full his eye. What happened this season, basically. He's not a guy that he'll do good in the beginning, and then towards the end, he'll just like somehow taper off and just like fall off a cliff at that point. Quite honestly, if we could trade and get someone in return that's much better for him, great. Honestly, I would say if the Mets can trade Senga for some Angel prospects or Seattle Mariner prospects, that'd be great because the Mariners have a really good farm system as well too. Yeah, granted we have some people in the farm system, but I think we need some serious superstars, specifically pitching. We have no pitchers. Don't say McLean, Sprout, and Tong. Honestly, I think McLean and Sprout might be there. Tong is not there. Honestly, I was thinking like, you know what, we lost Edwin Diaz. All right, you know what, this might make sense for making Jonah Tong our closer. Why? Because even though Tong kind of didn't do so well this year when he was brought up, he might have been brought up too early. But I think it's more so to the point of like, I think we're using him incorrectly. I think we need to use him as a closer. Just like the way I thought Match should have been a closer, just like the way I thought Isringhausen went. If you remember Jason Isringhausen, everyone thought he was a great, he was like the future starter of the Mets, basically. Turns out he wasn't. He was a much better closer. And I think this is where Jonathan would make more sense to be a closer. Sprout and McLean, I think let them be our dominant aces at that point. They'll be your 1-2 punch. Peterson should be on the back end of the rotation, the number 5 starter, because he eat up those innings at that point as well too. And then, quite honestly, or even too for that matter, Peterson could be also your mid reliever as well too, like another like Seth Lugo type of person. Yeah, granted, Seth Lugo is doing really well with the Kansas City Royals as a starter, but this is a case where like Peterson could go back and forth because like reality is like when he's on, and when when he's really gone, he's really on with Peterson. So he might make more sense to be a reliever in the playoffs at that point as well too. I don't know. This is. I don't want to see a sad day right now with the Mets, but I don't know. I'm hoping Stearns and Cohen has a plan in place because we're thinking of like getting Suarez. Suarez, as good as he is, problem is he's like 35, 36. I mean, he's up there in age now. I mean, honestly, yeah, he might be wily, but he's not going to have his stuff like the way, Pedro Martinez, as you saw towards the tail end of Pedro Martinez's career, he had to get wily. He had to be creative. He was not going to have, he knew he didn't have his stuff, so he got creative. Something similar with Glavine, basically, when it came to the Mets. We weren't getting the same person that we, was left from 5, 10 years ago. So we're not getting the same Suarez at this point. Honestly, I think we should use Tong as our closer. Let Devin be our maybe setup man, I guess. I don't know. If we do get Suarez, I think that's a mistake. If it's something as a stopgap for 1 year to 2 years, okay, fine. Only question is like, will the Mets be competitive now? This is the question that comes down to play now. Schwarber re-signed with the Phillies. Let's be honest. Schwarber, if we were going to go after Schwarber, it would have been great. But the problem is like we lost Schwarber because he's gone with the Phillies. He's re-signed with the Phillies. So at this point, it's a matter of like, who do we get at this point? I don't know. Tucker and Bellinger might make sense, but honestly, I think Bellinger, let him stay as a Yankee. I don't think he's going to do as much for us. I mean, he might make sense to cover that left field for us. That what happened, but reality is I don't think that's going to happen. Tucker, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I have no idea how that works out from that perspective. Vientos, we hired those coaches, hitting coaches specifically for Vientos as well as for Batty. I think Batty's probably going to be playing more third base. Vientos is probably going to be playing first base or even DH for that matter. Mauricio, I have no idea what's going to happen with them, but quite honestly, this is. I don't want to say it's disaster because let's be honest. 2 years ago, we thought the Mets were never going to. This year, we knew the Mets. We expected a lot from the Mets, and they didn't. Last year, we didn't expect much from them, and then somehow they exceeded our expectations. Why? Because we knew that the team that they had was not really built the way it should have been, but somehow we came back, and we actually went far. We were like maybe a couple home runs away from, and a couple 2 innings away, as quite honestly, from in some of those games where we could have gone to the World Series against the Yankees. It would have been another Subway Series. I'm not gonna lose it just yet, but it's and let's see how Clay Holmes does actually, because Clay Holmes, maybe he might be that mid reliever as well that we need at that point as well too. But I know what Cohen is trying. I know what Stearns is trying to do. He's trying to replicate what he did with the Brewers at a certain budget. But the reality is like he's got a much larger budget. He should realize that. And I think Cohen, the fact that they went and signed Soto, I was like, all right, we're on the right track. We're definitely on the right track. Now the question is like now we need starting pitching because it showed in the season we needed starting pitching. Problem is now we just lost half our offense and half our relief. Our bullpen is now I don't want to say decimated, but it's gone down. Unless we convert Jonathan to a closer, I think that might make sense. Quite honestly, if we can convert Jonathan to a closer, but I could be wrong. I mean, yeah, we need starting pitching, but honestly, we don't have any starting pitching right now at this point. I don't think we have anyone in the minors at this point. Benj, he might come up. He might be the one that might take over center field or left field for that matter. I don't know. We'll see. Mullins, it might have been a mistake. I don't know. Maybe Mullins might become good. I don't know. I'm hoping he does. Maybe it changes make changes in basically, and he might become good at that point. I mean, it seems like we did a practical 1-to-1 swap, practically to get Mullins for the Orioles while they sent off Alonso. I don't know. Uh, Either we get Suarez or Fairbanks. It's possible we might get Fairbanks. I don't know if that's they're probably our top, the only top tiers at this point. But honestly, I'm a little concerned about Suarez, his age aspect of things, and Hefner was. Let's be honest, Hefner was decent as a pitching coach, based on last year. This year it didn't seem so well, but maybe he had limited options at that point. Quite honestly, I don't know. Um, this is honestly, I'm not sure what to say, to be honest, because this threw me off. I thought in the span of 2 days we lose two of our top tier talents. Uh, we traded away Nimmo. Uh, it sounds like we're going to be trading away Peterson and Senga at this point as well too, even though they both want to stay. Um, it seems like we're going to be trading them off as well too. I honestly have no idea what Stearns is looking uh, into or what his plans are. I'm hoping he has a good plan in place, that he has a blueprint, but I don't know honestly. And Cohen, his timeline of where he thought the Mets were going to be competitive and in the World Series has gone beyond where it was now. It's already been 5 to 6 years now. 6 years, next year, next season. I don't think we're making the playoffs. Depending on like our pitching. If our pitchers come through and our bullpen is strong as well as our starting pitching, then it might change a different story. Because let's be honest, if we have really dominant pitching, Soto and Lindor should be enough at that point, and then Vientos and Batty could come into their run at that point. Mullins might benefit from that, and then I have a feeling Alvarez might do well. But it all comes down to the pitching at that point. If we don't have pitching, then we can't be too dependent on our offense. Yeah, same time, same aspect is like yeah, we have to be more defensive minded. Is that a possibility of what he was thinking? What Stearns is thinking? It's like you know what, Alonso's great as a hitter, but we need a 5 tool player, and Alonso was no Juan Soto. Now it's granted Juan Soto was more geared towards himself, but I want to say Alonso was a little bit not only Soto, but Alonso was himself a little bit more geared towards himself. He wasn't. I don't want to say he wasn't a team player, but this is a guy that loves to pad his stats. He knew full well that if he can get the home, it's like let's be honest. If there are times where he needed to advance a runner by popping up or popping out or whatever it may be, or even like advancing the runner however it may it would have been, he was always hitting for the fences. Reality is like small. I love small ball. I'm a guy that's old school. Love small ball. Love defense. Love pitching, and want the right catchers in place as well too. That's calling in those plays at that point. So it's one of those things where we're not going to see a Greg Maddux type of person for quite a while. Let's be honest. We're not going to see it. If we can get ski, I'll be honest. If we can get Skeens, that would change. I think that would change our outlook. I think the rest of the Mets fan base would change their outlook if we got Skeens. Let's be honest. If we got Skeens, I think instead of like being depressed right now, I think that have raise our hopes up considerably at that point. Because for instance, we have Skeens and then we have McLean and then we have Sprout. Those three, that's a 1-3 punch right there. And we have a fourth one where if Jonathan is turning out to be a really good, turns out to be a really good starter, that's a 1 through 4 punch basically. It'll only it'll become reminiscent of like the 2015, 2014, 2016 Mets, which we had Harvey, Degrom, Wheeler, as well as Syndergaard and or Matz. I mean, yeah, granted, Matz I thought he wasn't really a starter. Syndergaard, I mean, for a while he was benefiting until he just fell off that cliff at that point. Unfortunately, Harvey, went Kaputski basically after his surgery. Wish we still retained Degrom, but Degrom, I understand what he had to do, and he did what he had to do at that point. Um, but in any case, this is a matter of like the Mets basically coming. Mets management needs to do something at this point. I mean, honestly, um, it'll only be a matter of time before we see how they progress with the rest of the offseason. Maybe they do sign Suarez. Maybe they do sign Fairbanks and both of them together. I mean, they're definitely going to be aggressive. The fact is like what Diaz has done with his deal, similar to what Alonso has done with his deal. Suarez's Suarez's price has definitely gone up. Let's be honest, his price has gone up as this one as well too. And the thing is like, I don't know how we get that. Maybe we sign him for 1 year and then he's like, hey, go. But I think he's looking for a 4 or 5 year deal, basically. I don't think Stearns is looking to sign someone for that long term, unless we know unless he was a young star. Yeah, like he's in his 20s, that would be a different story. But that's not it. So I don't know how this works out. To be honest, I don't know how we do this. Um, I would love to know your thoughts. What do you guys think, honestly? Because I know things are looking bad right now. Time will only tell. Let's see what happens. We've got the rest of the month and plus all of January. So let's see what happens in January, because I have a feeling January is going to be the month where Stearns is going to be doing a lot of things. He's going to be making some trades at that point as well too. I know we definitely have some prospects that we could trade for some serious players. So long as we're not trading for like some scrubby players or one-off players, unless we're getting Skeens. If we're getting Skeens, I'm all for it. Honestly, if we can trade Vientos, Mauricio, and Acuna, and maybe one other player, somewhere in the minors, or Senga for Skeens, do it. Do it. I'm not gonna don't give him McLean, don't give up Sprout. Tongue, maybe you can give him up. But let's get Skeens. If we can get Skeens, changes the whole dynamic of everything where we're at that point. If we sign, there are rumors that we're looking to sign off, trade for Tatis and Machado. If we do that, hey, I mean, quite honestly, I think Soto as well as Lindor will be happy about that. Granted, they're both temperamental, but these are some serious power hitters who are decent in fielding as well too. So we'll see what happens. If that happens, that happens. I'll be happy about that, but only time will tell. But the thing is, what will we be surrendering for that? That's what it comes down to. I know. Well, time will only tell. Let's see what happens. With that, I'll leave it at that. If you have any thoughts on this subject matter, please leave it in the comment section. I do read them all. I do respond to them if they warrant a response, specifically on this context. I would love to hear your thoughts as well too. What do you think we should do? I mean, honestly, maybe we rebuild, but the problem is we have Soto and Lindor. I don't know how we rebuild from that. We'd have to trade them off somehow. The problem is we're not trading off Soto because no one's going to take on his contract unless we take half of it. Lindor, I don't think we're going to get anything from Lindor's contract at that point as well too. So I don't know. Stearns' trade record hasn't been so great. And I have a feeling he might be in over his head at this point, quite honestly. There's a strong possibility that he's in over his head with the New York Mets at this point. But I don't know. Maybe this year, maybe next year he has a plan for 2027. I don't know. If he does, it'd be good to know at that point. But reality is I doubt it. I can't see it. If you can see it, let me know. But I have a feeling it sounds like he's trying to build off of the future and basically have a mix of the veterans and some serious rookies. But only time will tell. Let's see what happens with that. I don't know. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.